3.6 liter Chevy Blazer with a leaking radiator. Tone here, guys, and today I have a 2019 Chevy Blazer two-wheel drive with a 3.6 liter engine. This one came in for several issues. We're going to be taking care of several things on this Blazer, but today I'm going to show you how to replace this radiator. It's not super hard. It's not super easy. You got to just disassemble some stuff, and if you don't know what you have to disassemble, it can be a little difficult. So I'm going to show you how to do that, but before we get started, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and hit the bell to get notified of all my future content, which you definitely don't want to miss. Let's jump right in. So the first two steps in doing this radiator are draining the coolant, which I already showed you, and next up is we have to recover the refrigerant, and that's going to be done through these service ports here. You're going to have a high and a low. One little tip I will tell you is that once you get done with this job, what you want to do is you want to replace these little Schrader valves. I'll try to show you that, but there's a little valve in here, and that valve gets depressed to open this up. And there are all different kinds. We have just a regular simple little valve that looks just like a tire valve. This is actually the same kind of valve stem that's in a tire. You have some that are a little more complicated, but it's all pretty much the same thing. When you open the machine, it pushes this valve open, which opens the AC system right there, and when you let go, it closes. Well, what happens is these things get stuck over time, and they open, and then when you go to close them, they stick open, and then refrigerant leaks out. So this is for a Sprinter. So you're going to want to replace these little Schrader valves when you do this job. You're going to want to do that because refrigerant is expensive, and on this specific vehicle, it's very expensive. This is R1234YF. And this stuff is very, very expensive. We only buy it in small bottles versus the R134, we buy it in big bottles. You're going to need a machine that can recover this refrigerant. And so this one here, we're going to go into AC database, and it takes a very long time to do this machine. A lot different than the R134. R134, you can just hook up to a vehicle and you can just go to town. On this one, you cannot. So we are dealing with a 2019. So when you first hook up this machine, it automatically has all these in blue or lit up to do. So we're going to recover, but we're not going to recharge it. So we're going to turn that off, and we're not going to vacuum it down. We're only going to recover the refrigerant that's in it. Now, if you start to recover the refrigerant, if you hook up to the machine and the machine doesn't tell you to, if you've already hooked up to the car, you have a big problem. It's going to take a long time to clear everything out. So we're going to hit OK, and you're going to wait until you get that message right there. Then we're going to go ahead and come over here, and we're going to go ahead and hook up to the service ports. You're going to pull the collar back, pull the coupler back, it's going to go on, and then you're going to tighten this down. And when you do that, if you did it right, you should see the gauge go up. That tells you that you hooked it up to the car and you didn't have it. So some of the times, if you only partially put this on and then you tighten it down, it will push off, and so it won't be connected, just like that. So we have to pull this back, twist it, now we're on, and now we're going to tighten this down. And now we have a reading on the gauges. So now we're going to hit OK. And it's going to take a while. So now we got to wait until this gets done. But while we wait for this to recover, we can go ahead and take off this top plate here. So it's going to be a bunch of clips because we have to remove this whole front bumper assembly to get the radiator out. For taking these clips out, I like these clip pliers here. I'll put a link down below, but pretty much you're just going to get underneath here, and you're gonna start to lift up. So we're going to go ahead and go under, and you're going to start to pick up, and then you go down and you grab the stem a little bit further down until it's clicked, and then now we know that it has come all the way out, and boom, just like that. Super easy, super simple. You could use them to push them back in just like that. Super cheap clip pliers, they work great. I use these for everything. Go ahead and take the little latch here off. So you just push these clips here and pull this out. We're going to go ahead and slide this out, and now this can come up, and you have an electrical connector here for a switch. We need to disconnect that. So you're going to have a connector on the other side. It's going to be clipped in here. You're going to disconnect that, and you're going to have a clip here and a clip here. You're going to go ahead and just pop this out and slip this out, and now we have our latch. And now we can actually just leave our latch connected, and we can just leave it over there. It's not going to hurt anything. And now we can work here on getting all this out. You're going to have these 3 T20s, that one here, and one here. And then this is going to come out. So they just go right there, and they go right into the radiator, the top of the radiator. So we're going to go ahead and take this out. And we're going to attempt to do this without taking this bumper off. You don't really want to disconnect body panels if you don't have to. And as you can see, the radiator and the condenser look like they should come out. We're going to have to take off this cross brace here. Look at that radiator. Once we get this message, we know that the gauges are empty, so we have recovered this system. So now we can go ahead and if you work in a shop, you may want to record how much refrigerant that was pulled, so you know that this pulled out 0.62 kilograms, and the spec is not here because I took the sticker off. But anyways, so now we can go ahead and remove the AC machine. We're going to go ahead and take off this cross brace here. So you're going to have a connector here for these 2 sensors here. You're going to disconnect those. There's a lock tab, so pull the lock tab back, disconnect the connectors, and we're going to go ahead and undo this. Now, you got to remember, and we're going to have to undo these upper radiator mounts. And just remember when we put it back together that this cable has to go under here. All right, so you can see that this condenser and this radiator is just a little unit here that can easily slide out of here. We have made room by taking off this brace, which was just 110 here, and then 1 on the inside. You had 2 for your radiator supports. So now we need to go ahead and just tuck this cable over here like this. Now, the tricky part is you have to get down here and disconnect the AC lines. So you're going to have 2 13mm nuts, 1 there and 1 for the lower line. You're going to have to disconnect these tranny cooler lines. I'll show you how to do that. But next up, let's go ahead and get this radiator fan module disconnected. And we got to disconnect the radiator hoses up here. So you have to disconnect these tranny cooler lines. There's 1 here and there's 1 down below. Well, you can do it one of 2 ways. You can disconnect it here, or you can disconnect them down there at a junction. The only problem with disconnecting them down there is you still have to disconnect them over here to replace the radiator. So I'm going to disconnect them here, make it simple. So I want to go ahead and take this cooling fan to get it out of here. But there's a clip that holds this tranny cooler line assembly down there to the radiator fan. So we can't get it out with the radiator, with the tranny cooler lines connected. So we're going to disconnect them. So let me show you how to do it. So you have this plastic piece here. This piece just covers it. All that does is keep the clip from coming out. And then we have a clip in there. We have to pop that clip out. Let me see if I can do this with the camera rolling.
Sometimes this can be really easy and sometimes really hard. Now, at first, I was using that pick is kind of dull. It's not very pointy. And I was able to get it to start to pop out. And then I took my longer, sharper pick and I was able to grab it and lift it up out. Now, these things are, we've heard about 10 millimeters going missing. These clips, if you let that go, there's a real good chance you're not going to find it. There's all kinds of memes and jokes about mechanics losing that clip. I have a container. I keep all my old clips in because sometimes they just pop out and there's nothing you can do. So I'm going to use these pliers and I'm going to grab it and pull it out. Now, the funny thing is on this one here, they come in the new radiator, so it doesn't even matter.
Before we pull the tranny cooler lines off, we're going to go ahead and disconnect the lower radiator hose. Now, you'll wonder why I put a line across there. So these clamps are the best because they expand and contract with heat. And when you take them off, if you put them back on, if they leak, it's because you don't put them back exactly where they were. So I draw a line across there, and I know that when I put this hose back on, as long as that line lines back up, this clamp is exactly where it needs to be. Now, let's say it's off just a little bit. Then I may be able to figure out that the clamp is no good. So just put a line and feel good about it. You don't have to worry. We're going to go ahead and take out this 13 millimeter nut right here for the condenser as well. All right, once you've got the lower radiator hose disconnected, we'll go ahead and disconnect these tranny cooler lines. Now, those little clips, if you're replacing the radiator, they're going to come in the new fittings. It's going to look like that, and then we'll already have the clips in there. You want to save them just in case. So sometimes what you got to do, sometimes you got to give these a little twist to get them to pop out. So we're going to go ahead and get these popped out. And then there is also a bracket that attaches. I'll have to show you on the cooling fan when I get it out, but it attaches down below. So here is the engine side of the fan. That one bracket right here, the clip that holds the lines together. Because one tranny cooler line goes this way and the other one goes that way. So they come as an assembly, they come across, and then they're also in this bracket. You have to undo this bracket here, which holds them together. This one was already undone when I got it, so I didn't have to mess with it. But anyways, you're going to have 2 10s up top and one connector. You also have to disconnect the upper radiator hose to get it out, which we have to disconnect anyways. And so I just tucked that back there. And we got one more little hose here. And we got one AC line right there. To separate the condenser and the radiator, you're just going to push those 2 tabs together, one on each side. And then it's going to slide up and out of the bracket right there like that. Like that. All right, then all you do is you just slide your condenser into the radiator and snap it in here. Now, before you put the radiator in, it'd be a good idea to go and replace your AC seals here while they're just sitting here, not in the way. So we can reach in here and grab one and go ahead and put new seals on. And also make sure that the ends of your tranny cooler lines aren't boogered up, so that way they go in easy. Then we're going to go ahead and just set it in. And you want to make sure that the rubber pieces are down there where your little legs go. You have a post that goes down that goes into a rubber hole. Now, don't connect these tranny cooler lines yet because we have to put this radiator fan in. And so same thing over here. And the other thing I forgot to show you is that there is a clip right there. And this clip goes into the side of the radiator over here. But don't clip that in either because we need all this to be loose to get the fan in.
Now, this is going to be the first time I've ever done this in one of my YouTube videos, but I did get some Ray-Ban Meta glasses, so I could give you a POV into doing certain type of work. Now, this is the perfect example because I'm able to show you exactly what it takes to put this cooling fan in. Before, all I could do is explain to you all the little tips and tricks and hurdles along the way. Now, as you're setting this cooling fan in, you're going to have the tranny cooler lines are going to be fighting you on the right side, the left side. They're going to get stuck underneath the fins of the fan. Now, if you were to disconnect the tranny cooler lines on the driver's side, right down there, those 2 at that union, it would be easier to take the fan out with the tranny cooler lines connected to the radiator. And then you would take the radiator out or the fan out, then disconnect the cooler lines. However, I only want to disconnect what I have to. So I only disconnect them at the radiator. So once you get this fan in and you make sure that your cooler lines are in place, you're going to grab your 2 10s that go in and secure the fan to the radiator, and you're going to go ahead and run those in. Now, you want to be careful if you use cordless ratchets and things like that because you could easily over tighten these and break the radiator or the fan. So just do it till they're snug. You don't have to go full speed. Now, you want to make sure that your tranny cooler lines all fit into where they're supposed to fit into before you connect anything. So underneath, they're going to get stuck, and they're going to get stuck. That lower one is going to get stuck underneath. So you want to set the cooler lines into the fittings. You want to get that clip out from the radiator. It's kind of hard to see because of the AC line. but it gets stuck on the bottom of the fan. So you're going to push the lines in until they click. Now you want to listen because the click is really important. If you hear the click, then you know that the lines are in all the way. And if you want to be sure, you can use a mirror and look and make sure you see all three little humps of the clip around the line. Now, that plastic piece that we put over the line, if you try to put that over the cooler fitting and it doesn't go on, then most likely your clip is not all the way seated. That means one of the little humps is sticking up, not allowing the clip to go on. Then once you've got those clipped in and on the other side, now you want to clip the assembly into the side of the radiator right there. Next up is the cooling fan connector. Now, you'll see here that, well, I'm scrambling because I can't quite remember where I put that connector. Maybe it's down here. I took this apart a while ago. Oh, I know. AC. We got to get the AC going because the AC takes a very long time in this car to vacuum down and charge up because of the 1234YF. There's no way around it. R134, you could hook up to this thing, hit vacuum, suck it down to a vacuum, pause the vacuum, stop the vacuum, and charge it up if you wanted to, and then take it off. All in 5 minutes, 10 minutes tops, if you only wanted to suck it down until it got to a low vacuum. But this machine, you can't do that. You can't shortcut anything with this machine. You have to put it in the procedure and let it go. Always follow the machine's prompts. And it looks like, according to the machine, I don't know if this Blazer started in 19, but it goes from 19 to, I think, 24, according to the machine, is the 1234YF. So I positioned the AC lines out of the way of the front. So I went around the oil fill there. So that way I can continue to work on the front while the AC is vacuuming down and charging up and all that. Now with this job, I did a timing cover, reseal, I did control arms, and I did the radiator all in the same visit. And so as I'm putting this back together, you'll see some stuff is disconnected sometimes because of that.
All right, so now that we got this in here, now we're going to go ahead and get these hoses connected to make it easy. Now that purple line there, that goes to that clamp.
Now, one of the things I have to be careful of when I'm wearing these glasses is that I'm not twirling and turning too much because I know it's going to give you a headache. And so trying to figure everything out, trying to find tools and stuff like that. There we go. I found them. The radiator clamp clip pliers.
Mayhew Tools, baby. Got the radiator clip pliers. Let me go ahead and okay, now we'll slide this up. So you can see how that purple line is completely straight across. Well, not really there, but that was because of the way that it connected. So we know that this is on all the way. Not going to leak. All right, now we got one small hose to connect, this little guy here. And there's our line there. You got an idea? So I had to do all that to get it off, but what we're going to do, we're going to go ahead and slide this up like that. So that's what it should look like when it's on. So now what we're going to do is we're going to just press this clamp.
Now, sometimes these little hoses, they can be a real bugger to get connected properly. Just sometimes because like this one here, there's a little bit of the radiator that sits right above that hose. And so you don't have a lot of room to put this clamp. Now, I am not a fan of worm drive clamps. You will hear a ton of people say just throw these clamps in the garbage, whatever. I used to do that. I used to throw these clamps away and put worm drive clamps on everything. And then over the years, I started noticing that we would do an oil change on the vehicle later, and then the hose clamps would be seeping and seeping. You'd snug them up, they'd seep some more. And I worked at a shop where we couldn't throw those clamps away. We had to reuse those clamps on every car. That's why I started drawing the line on the clamps.
All right, so for this radiator, to finish putting this radiator back in, remember the latch goes under the radiator support. All right, so go ahead and set this in place, get your bolts all in. Okay, we're going to put your supports on, get everything lined up. Don't connect these connectors yet. Okay, also while you're doing this, go ahead and be recharging your AC. Now we're going to go ahead and get an air ratchet. A tool. I'm going to go ahead and zap this all down. Uh-oh. Oh, found it. Keep a telescoping magnet with you at all times. Used to have pockets on my shirts. And I always had a pocket screwdriver and a magnet. Always. But we don't have those kind of shirts here, so can't do that. So because of that, I keep my telescoping magnet here, and I keep a pocket screwdriver on each side of my cart, just because sometimes I'm on one side or the other. Go ahead and tighten these down. Okay, there's that. Now go ahead and connect these. Make sure they click. Pop the lock lever in place. This one goes there. Okay, this connector is going to go, this connector goes under here because that goes for the latch. But before we put the latch in, I just got done doing a timing cover job, so it's been a little while since I did the radiator. But I think we need to put...
Now, this is pretty funny because those pieces right there just created quite havoc for me. I tried to put this piece on first. Nope, that piece goes on last. Then I tried to put this on, thought the latch went behind it, put the latch on, took the latch on and off a whole bunch of times, as you'll see. It's pretty funny.
So when you're putting latches on, you can mark them, or it's going to be hard to see that, but basically, I just put it back to where the bolt lines up with the spot on the latch. So that way I know that's where it was. Now we have an electrical connector to connect. This connected inside of here like that. This clipped there. Well, we forgot something. Hopefully we can do this without taking the connector off. Yeah, we can. All right, so this is going to go... Oh my God, I'm an idiot. We didn't even have to take that off. So this is going to go... like that. And again, we're going to usually just barely snug up to one side, so that way I could still move this side. All right, there we go.
And I left this part in here on purpose to show that I'm human and I make mistakes and I forgot which way this thing went back together. I got to take the latch off again. This goes behind the latch. So now we got to take it back off.
So here's the new Schrader. We're going to go ahead and put that in here. And so they make a tool to put these in. This is by OTC. And so what it does is it's a little torque wrench. So watch, it's going to click. When you get it tight enough, it clicks so that way you don't over tighten it. So once you put your radiator fan in, you're going to go ahead and put your 210s at the top, one on each side. You're going to go ahead and get this in place, and you want to make sure that this clip is in place as well, that clip right there. You're going to snap all that together. Now, you want to make sure that these are up here with your connections, because these go over it. If you try to slide this over the fitting and it won't go on, that means that your clip is not all the way engaged. So there's three little nipples, little notches that go around this. So when this pops in, there's three little things that stick out and they grab onto it. So you want to make sure you hear it click. Once you do that, you're going to slide this up. You're going to connect that. Go ahead and connect your fan. Go ahead and connect your radiator hoses. And then you're going to put your brace back on and put your plastic piece and your latch. That's how you finish this job. I'm stopping now because I'm going to be doing a timing cover as well. And as you can see, I have a lot of room for the alternator and things like that. So after watching this video, I hope that you started watching this video before you started to find out that you can't just let the refrigerant out. That this has 1234A, which is, 1234YF, which is very, very expensive Freon, and you need a special machine, and it takes forever. So hopefully you were successful in doing this job, or after watching this video, you decided this job was not for you. Thanks for watching the video. Drop a comment down below and let me know if you've replaced one of these or if you turned it away. See you guys next time.